Hey, what's going on, guys? So today we're going to be talking about episode 4 of Avatar: The Last Airbender. And in this episode, it kind of goes along with the whole adventure thing where, throughout we're going to have these fun adventures and these adventures that kind of bring us more towards the story. And all be all, I think throughout we're going to see Aang kind of grow, but since it's got to keep this cartoon thing going on, he's always going to be Aang at heart, if that makes sense. So, how this episode starts is they're kind of randomly traveling. Aang doesn't really know how to follow directions or where he's going. So, they're just kind of all over the place. And it's been kind of random. And as the side plot, we get a cutoff on Prince Zuko basically talking about his routes. His uncle is bringing information. They don't know his whereabouts. And his whereabouts are like all over the place because Aang has no idea where he's going. So, the way that this episode starts with our friends, Aang, Katara, Sokka, Momo, and Appa now, it's got to where, you know, they're confused and they end up on this one island. And this island turns out to be the Koifish Island. In fact, the actual island's name is Kyoshi, which is a small island type of village. Try to look up a little more information so I can get more context on things because it does give you some information, but Kyoshi is actually one of the avatars that a statue of was built. But from there, they get to the island, and Aang's there. He's just hanging around, and yeah, he's trying to ride these giant koi fish. They're called elephant koi fish. And while he's doing that, there's this whole subplot of this episode where Katara isn't paying a bunch of attention at all to Aang. She's kind of just brushing him off and not paying attention to him much at all. And Aang's just trying to get her attention. He keeps doing this trick with marbles where he gets them to spin in circles, and she just wouldn't pay attention. So he's riding this elephant koi fish, and eventually, as he's having fun, Katara's kind of paying attention, but not really. What happens is slowly all the fish start to basically go under, and this giant dragon like sea creature, like a sea beast like creature, comes and raises. So Aang's like rushing, trying to get out of the water. And from there, it gets to how we get to Kyoshi Island. So out of nowhere, these village warriors, and yeah, they get the pounce on them, and turns out they get tied up. So these warriors, they wear face makeup, they have fans, and they wear dresses as well. So it's kind of like your generic Japanese type warrior type characters. Um, but from there, they're tied up, and they're kind of questioning them, and they're just trying to, get to the horrible deal of what they're doing there and why they're there. Basically, the same thing. But anyway, from there, Aang's like, I'm the Avatar, and they didn't believe him because, Kyoshi's like their village guardian or whatever, or like their goddess per se that watches over them. And to prove that he's the Avatar, he has to show that he airbends. So he airbends out of the binds, and whenever that happens, they're all like shocked and amazed with the fact that he's the Avatar. So everyone is like treating him like a celebrity. Also, after all that, Sokka couldn't get over the fact that a bunch of girls got him and caught him. Previously, before this, it's not really important at all. Uh, During their ride on Appa, Katara was actually helping Sokka out by repairing his pants, and basically Sokka was saying some smart comment about not bothering Katara. She's doing a woman's task or something. And yeah, that was the whole subplot of, I guess, don't judge a character by their book or something like that. Don't be sexist type subplot. Well, anyway, that carries over to what actually transpired conspires. So he got caught. He got outed by a bunch of girls, and yeah, he's just angry about that this episode. From there, Aang's Aang's like this big celebrity, so information is getting spread throughout, and it basically has a scene where there's these fish, and these fish are slowly being, transported, like how, one person catches the fish, the next one buys the fish, the next one sells the fish, and then the next one is the person that actually gets the fish to their home to eat it. And the person that gets information about the Avatar being there is Prince Zuko, and it comes from his uncle. So before they can even get dinner ready, which of course the meal was the same fish, so it shows you how quick information can actually spread. Anyway, from there we know the subplot is he's gonna try to get there, and we don't know when. That's kind of the mystery. So during the whole ordeal, the main plot of this episode is that Katara is basically kind of jealous of Aang and his newfound fame in Kyoshi village. And it's got to where Aang is being followed by tons of girls. He's giving them rides. He's still trying to get Katara to show him attention. And yeah, it just keeps going deeper and deeper. There's like this one scene where all these girls start appearing out of nowhere whenever they're trying to paint the Avatar, and it just keeps going, more and more girls in the whole picture. It was pretty funny. He couldn't even go out on a walk, or he'd have a bunch of people trying to follow him. And yeah, he was just giving them tours and telling them about the statue, saying that was me in a past life, which it technically is him in a past life, so that is true. So in this episode, we have the second plot of the main plot, and that's Sokka. He basically stops by the place where the females train, or the warriors of the village, should I say. That's a better way to word it. He goes there, and, he's upset, so he's like, oh, looks pretty good for a dance studio, or something like that. He makes a dance comment, because what they do isn't necessarily like a combative martial art. It's more like you're not using any force. You're kind of just canceling them, I guess. I don't know exactly what kind of martial art it is. We don't really get any names of these female characters, if any. No type of warrior names. So while that's going on, he actually basically is like, I'm the top warrior of my village, and they're all just laughing at him, making fun of him, sort of. Not literally, they're like, oh yeah, show us. And he shows them, and he gets countered and thrown down and everything else. And yeah, it gets to where he basically gets on his knees and he begs that they teach him by saying he's sorry, and he was upset just because he got beat by a bunch of girls. So he's training in their ways and learning some new moves. So does this carry over? We'll see. So subplot finished. Next plot, Aang and Katara are having this, they're already having this big fight going on throughout the episode. It finally gets to where Aang's like, I'm gonna do something really stupid and crazy. He wanted to go ride that giant sea beast. And Katara was like, whatever. And all the girls were already starting to get bored of him. So while he's in the water, he's kind of waiting around, and it's not showing up. So slowly, the girls are getting bored, so he shows them that stupid marble trick, and they're like, we already seen that already. And they're like, just slowly leaving, they're bored of him. Because he's just Aang, you know what I mean? There's only so much coolness that there can be of being the Avatar whenever you've been the Avatar in that village for so long. So out of nowhere, it's just chill. It's just chill. Katara comes once all the girls are gone, and she's like, I just wanted to make sure you didn't do anything stupid. I was worried about you. And Aang's like, yeah, you're right. And he's trying to come back to Katara, and what happens is out of nowhere that giant sea beast shows up again, and yeah, he has to hold it by the whiskers, and he's just struggling and struggling, and it's just flinging him back and forth, and it can shoot water from its mouth, just like a One Piece sea beast. It's really awesome. Um, so the only person to help Aang at that moment was Katara. She pushes back a wave, and it scoots him back. Whenever, so she gets in the water, she uses her water bending, boom, and it like shoots her forward, and she's on land. During that, it comes back to our subplot, the plot where like Prince Zuko, what's gonna happen? Where is he gonna come from? Is it gonna be now? Is it gonna be later? Prince Zuko, his ship makes the grand entrance as soon as that beast is gone, and here we go. They're on like these hogs, and Katara and Aang are behind these rocks, and Aang's kind of out of commission for this second. He's got water in his lungs. We'll get to that a little bit here in a little second. So they're making their way, and they have to be quiet. So they're going toward, we can already tell that they're getting ready to make their way to the village. So Katara, she thinks quick. She uses her water bending, and she gets the water out of Aang's lungs, which was a very smart move. We cut back. We go back to Sokka. Sokka is starting to get the hang of the martial art that they're teaching, and he basically throws her down, and he actually gets one on her, and she just like, she hits him back. It's like, I was just letting you have the way, I was just doing that to make you feel good about yourself. And yeah, he's starting to learn it, and they're basically dueling, and it's became really competitive between those two. So subplot, we get back to Prince Zuko, and he's finally at the village. He's looking for the Avatar, and he's destroying everything in his path, basically. A big fight breaks out, and the village warriors started off. They take him out one by one. Of course, Prince Zuko, being so strong, he takes one out using his little boar, and it kicks one of the warriors. I don't know how to explain it. It's like Assassin's Creed. They jump out with their little fans, bop, and then slowly they're getting taken off the little hogs. Prince Zuko was the only one standing on the hogs still. And yeah, he was just tough. He was using his fire bending and everything else. I think even in this episode, Sokka was able to get some in. But Aang comes to the village, and he basically flings Zuko using his fan, and it hits him into one of the buildings. Everything's on fire. It's disastrous. He goes to fly off, and from there, I guess everyone started to make their way. And during all this, Sokka. So Sokka and the girl, the one that he was having a little competition with, the one he's been close to this episode, they're basically talking, and at the end of the day, she's like, I'm a girl, and then she gives him a little cheek kiss, so it's cute. It's like, oh, maybe these two are something, it's just little romance, but not too much for the kids. Give something a little for it's all genders, everyone, it's everyone, and I like that, a little of everything's included. And this episode almost ends off with them just leaving and letting the village go. But Aang, in his eyes, he saw the fire, and he knew he had to do something. So Aang comes back, he drops down, he goes to the water. Out of nowhere, the sea beast rises. He basically kind of tames it this episode. He gets the whiskers, he pulls back, and you know how it shoots water? He started aiming it. He aimed it towards the village, and he extinguished the fires that were happening in the village due to him and his big brawl. And basically, after that, Aang leaves the village. It basically cuts to the village leader. Thank you, Avatar. And that's the end of the episode, if I can best describe it. It's a really good episode. It's got some emotion in it. It's got a little love in it. It's got a little of everything, you know what I mean? It's even got a lesson, Lessons are always great episodes, because it's not only teaching, it's being good entertainment. which is hard to do in this modern day world. I would say this episode is I have to say 8.7. I can't give it higher than everything else. It's still really solid. I couldn't justify giving it a 9. I almost did, but I still think other episodes were still better. Anyway, I do recommend the series so far. It is really great. There's something for literally everyone, no matter who you are and what you like. It tries to mix a little of everything. And it's like two cultures together. It's like Power Rangers here in America. It's a little of everything. And I love it. So anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts and what you think about it. And anyway, I hope you guys stay safe and peace.